Episode 2 of Bon Appétit and Majesty begins with Ji-young and Gil-gyum sitting by the river when Chae-hong guards pass by. The guards capture them and take the pair to Governor Hong's residence. Ji-young finally accepts here that she's travelled back in time and has an appropriate freakout. The Chae-hong inspectors arrive and divide the women into two groups, and unfortunately Ji-young and Gil-gyum end up in the group that won't be taken to the king. Instead, they're ordered to cook a meal in the kitchen, but this proves to be a problem since there are very few ingredients and all the kitchen maids have run away. Ji-young strikes a deal with Hong Yon-yuk, the governor's son. If she can impress their guests with a good meal, he will let all the women go. He agrees and informs her that the guests are Im Song-jae and his father Im So-hong. He describes them as menaces who always find fault in the food, so it's basically like cooking for Gordon Ramsay. Ji-young takes on the challenge and decides to cook a steak, but unfortunately the meat is very tough and she's forced to engineer the sous vide process to get it tender. Meanwhile, Yi-hong finds Ji-young's scrunchie by the river and realizes that she's been taken as part of the Chae-hong. Elsewhere, we learn that Hong Yon-yuk sent his daughter Mi-hyang away with her nanny out of fear that the Chae-hong will take her. Now Song-jae and his father soon arrive, where the former inspects the girls chosen for the Chae-hong and rejects most of them. Dinner is then served, but Song-hae and So-hong complain that they've only been given a few measly pieces of meat. Now Yon-yuk gets all the cooks out and blames them, but Song-jae offers a surprise by having his men bring Mi-hyang out, whom he captured as she ran away. Now Governor Hong is incensed but ultimately powerless. Ji-young asks the lords to at least taste the food and agrees to give up her life if it's not good. If it is good though, they agree to let all the women go. They do so, and while it's obvious they love the food, Song-jae lies and says it's tasteless. As the cook, Ji-young is dragged away to be punished. Suddenly a voice rings out demanding they stop, and it happens to be none other than Yi-hong. Ji-young realizes he was telling the truth all along and laments the way that she treated him. Since he heard her saying there was nothing wrong with her cooking, he decides to be the judge. He takes a bite and clearly enjoys the dish, particularly a powder she created to replicate MSG. She realizes he is a true gourmet. Yi-hong then asks her a string of questions about her background and where she's from. She decides to take a chance and tells him she's from the future. Naturally, he just thinks she's lost her mind, but he then orders Song-jae to take Ji-young and Mi-hyang to the palace the next day. Recalling her history, Ji-young remembers that the Mi-hyang incident is what sparked the Gapshin literati purge, during which Yi-hong executed officials involved in his mother's death. Now Yi-hong dismisses everyone but Governor Hong, who stays behind. He tells Yi-hong that he's neglecting the state and wrapping himself up with women, which is why his subjects are dissatisfied with him. We then learn that Yi-hong is doing this to take revenge, since the governor was involved in Yi-hong's mother's death. He now exiles the governor for blasphemy against the king. Now back in chains, Ji-young tells Gil-gyum that she's from the future, and to her surprise, Gil-gyum actually believes her. She realizes it was probably because of the old cookbook, which is still in her bag, hanging off the side of the cliff. Elsewhere, Song-jae approaches Yi-hong. He tells Song-jae to let all the women, including Mi-hyang, go since he'd got his revenge on her father. Their conversation reveals that the entire Chae-hong was part of Yi-hong's plan to avenge his mother. Meanwhile, Hong Yon-yuk keeps his promise and lets Ji-young and Gil-gyum go. As the women walk through the woods, Ji-young tells Gil-gyum to come with her to the future since she has no family in this time period. They reach the cliff and search for Ji-young's bag, but Yi-hong, who learned they ran away, catches up with them. Now Ji-young begs him to let her take her bag back, and he has a guard fetch it but promptly throws it over the cliff anyway. She says she'll do anything to get it back, which seems to pique Yi-hong's interest. The next thing we know, the two girls are taken to the palace in the Joseon version of handcuffs. Elsewhere, Mokshu and Prince Jae-san discuss the prince's plan to overthrow the king. Now Prince Jae-san suspects one of his people of acting in haste and says he is having him followed. Now Jae-san also tells Mokshu that the king is bringing a woman, which seems to get in her head. While being taken to the palace, Ji-young wonders if she prevented the Gapshin literati purge since the king is no longer taking Mi-hyang with him. The party reaches the palace where Mokshu gives Yi-hong a warm welcome. He shows her Ji-young as well, calling her Gwyn-yo and insinuating that he has great plans for her talent. Now Ji-young remembers Mokshu as the person who wrapped the king around her finger and caused all sorts of tyranny. The episode then ends with Yi-hong promising Ji-young that she will end up begging him for death. So episode 2 fares a lot better than the premiere episode here, as a lot more is happening and the supporting characters get more involved. We also get some insights into the region's politics too, particularly regarding Yi-hong and the cruel practice of the Chae-hong, which turns out to be a means for him to get personal revenge. Of course, it doesn't really make his actions okay, and it'll be interesting to see how the drama addresses this in the future. Ji-young is still very much the heart of the show though, and Im Yeon-ha is doing a fabulous job as her, offering a slightly exaggerated performance, which which hones in the comedy quite nicely. So far, Lee Chae-min hasn't shown the same range, but he's nailing that cocky one eyebrow raised look. Now Wee-sik seems to be having a great time playing Im Song-jae, and while his character falls in that murky grey area, his camaraderie with Yi-hong is certainly heartwarming. The cooking sequence is easily the best part of the episode though, with great visuals and a very smart nudge for us viewers by including MSG. The entire sous vide process makes for a nice watch as well, and it's clever and funny and also has mouth-watering visuals. Honestly, don't watch this show if you haven't eaten beforehand. The series is also doing a great job of making cooking part of the story and not just as a side gimmick either. All in all, the ending of this episode sets things up nicely for where the next episodes could go next. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.